Hey guys, what's up? What's up, you guys? Oh my gosh, I am just like coming back into my space, into my office for the day. For those of you who didn't know, I have been gone for the last 10 days from my normal home office, and my office has been with me on a laptop, right? I've been running an amazing, couples retreat with my husband. Prior to that, I was in Phoenix. I was asked to speak and be a keynote speaker on sales and marketing. And really what I talked about on that keynote, guys, was the power of decision making, right? Because we all know what we need to do in sales and marketing and lead generation and branding. But like, if you are not disciplined and you are not someone who can make powerful decisions, right, you waste so much time. So anyways, guys, it feels really, really good to be back in the office. For those of you who don't know me, yes, I am Carissa Atkins. I'm a high ticket sales and business coach. And I help women entrepreneurs, honestly, master sales, marketing, and most importantly, their CEO identity so that they can scale well beyond six figures with confidence, without the burnout, without the overwhelm, and definitely without running all of those, ads on, on all of your social channels. But here's what I've discovered over years of coaching women. Your business and your relationship are deeply connected. You can have the best sales strategy in the world, but if your relationship at home is draining you, it will show up in your business. Your energy, your confidence, your sales conversations, all of it. And vice versa, right? Like if business is slow, if you're worried about money and marketing and sales and you lack the confidence on the business side, you're going to bring that stress into your relationship, and you're going to probably find yourself having tons of conversations every single night at the dinner table or around the kitchen island, complaining or worried or stressed out about how you're going to pay the bills. So, they do go hand in hand. Love and money go hand in hand. And that's why today I want to just share something that I don't think gets talked about enough. And it's what I would call the evolution of a couple. Because like entrepreneurs, right, they evolve. And I've spoken on stage on this topic alone, right? The evolution of entrepreneurship. We go from entrepreneur with like typically it's like corporate women who want to step away from corporate and step into some sort of entrepreneurship. So we call them the entrepreneur, right? We want to be an entrepreneur, but we're not quite ready to make the leap. Then we have the solopreneur, right? The woman who's made the leap, who's wearing all the hats, who's doing all the things, the marketing, the bookkeeping, the taxes, the coaching, like all of it, right? That's a solopreneur. She's wearing a lot of hats. And then they evolve when they're ready to scale, and they kind of start stepping into the CEO level identity where it's like, cool, I'm going to start thinking about a team to support me. I'm going to start scaling, right? I'm at maybe 150, 200K in, and now I'm ready to really step up into my CEO level, leading a team, leading clients, leading a bigger mission. And then, of course, there's CEO to investor, right? And investor eventually gets to movement maker if you've got a big enough vision behind what it is that you want to do. So what I've realized is that couples evolve too. Some couples stay stuck, some couples grow apart, and some step fully into what I call power couple identity. I've personally had the privilege to live in all three of these stages, right? And so really when I break down these stages, guys, it's the settler, it's the evolver, and it's the power couple. Okay. And today I want to walk you through all three of those. And I'll share some of my own parts of my own story because I want to really talk about what it takes to evolve together and why your relationship is one of the most important overlooked factors in building a thriving business and growing sales. Okay. So it's this whole concept. I want to kind of take you back to where this ultimate power couples retreat concept came from. So about a year ago, it was November, my husband, Will, and I, we were going on a little mini, I won't say staycation because we had to drive like 3 hours to get to the cabin. But we did, we had someone watch the dogs. I had someone watch Sarah, and Will and I went to this beautiful cabin and and just the most gorgeous part of England. It was lots of nature, lots of trees, lots of just relaxation, right? And at this couples retreat that I was on with my husband, we were mapping out our goals. We were mapping out our vision. We were actually taking the strategic steps in order for those visions to come true. Like, we brought our calendar, like I'm talking the big ass calendars, guys. We brought our notebooks. And yes, the intention was to like get away and relax and, spend amazing couple time together. My husband, he also said, babe, like, you're really good at, helping your own clients map out like a strategic plan on how you help them get to their goals. Can we do something like that for my vision, my goals? And honestly, guys, it was like his birthday, like it was his birthday gift. I wanted to he is quality time type of guy. And so I knew that us escaping for 2 or 3 days alone in a cabin would just be perfect for him, right? So I remember looking at him in the cabin, and we were mapping out these goals. We were literally like, if our goal was to hit, 7 different countries in the next 12 months, we literally went out and planned those. We didn't have all the details, obviously, but we booked the flights, right? Because the flights getting booked kind of held us accountable to what it is that was important for us as a couple. And so right there in that moment, I think it was like day 2.5, I said, wouldn't it be amazing if other couples could experience this too? And then we had this open dialogue and this open conversation around, I wonder if other couples are seriously taking time away from their busy lifestyles, away from their kids, getting out of their home, away from all their responsibilities, and spending time thinking about their vision, thinking about how they're going to achieve it, spending this sense of quality time with each other. And he's like, oh my God, I really don't think people do that. And I started to do some surveying, and I was like, holy shit. Yes, absolutely. A lot of couples get away on vacation, but most of the time these vacations are for work, right? Maybe you go to a conference and then you turn into like a mini, bookend, time by yourself. Or maybe you go to an event where you're speaking at, and then you spend a couple of extra days doing something fun, but it's never just alone time spent on vision casting, dream building, goal creation, implementation, etc. And so this like came up in like our conversation. Like, these are the types of big ass conversations that Will and I have. It's like, what if we did this? And what I love about the whole what if we did is it starts to plant the seed deep within our subconscious mind. And then we literally are like, okay, cool. If it's exciting to us, it will take shape, right? It'll keep going. So it was a really, really cool idea that we had, that we absolutely fell in love with. Because here's the truth, you guys. When your relationship is aligned, your business thrives. When your relationship is not going so great, you feel those cracks everywhere, right? Your confidence, your focus, your sales departments, your team leading, your leadership abilities, right? Your coaching abilities. If you're so stressed about your home life, your relationship, your love life, if your love tank is not full, you will feel it in your business. And like I said at the beginning, if you don't feel the love in your business, your relationship will feel it, right? So that's where the idea of the evolution of a couple was born. And just like that, or just like entrepreneurs, not every couple makes it to the next level. Some stay stuck, some grow apart, and some rise into, what I call that power couple identity. So today I want to walk you through those 3 stages. And I'm going to share little stories along the way. And then I'm going to show you what it takes to truly step into power couple identity. So your relationship fuels your life, your business, and your sales, or what I like to say, bank account. All right, guys. So if you're catching this live, let me know in the comments. If you're catching this on a replay, let me know what's landing for you. Just say, hey, Carissa, I'm watching from so-and-so. I have audience people, audience from all over, right? We've got LinkedIn streaming. We've got Facebook. I've got YouTube going. So I've got, DMs all coming in. So trust me, I will check. I run all my social accounts. I do all my own DMing. So a lot of you watch these lives and then you send me a private DM. Love it. Keep it going. Which is really what sparked this actual live today. So over the last 5 days, me and my husband were in the DR, right? We were running this beautiful couples retreat that we envisioned about a year ago, right? And as I'm making these posts, as I'm creating these comments, or as I'm creating the stories, I'm getting DMs saying, "Tell me more about the evolution of a couple," right? And more importantly, I had one come up and say, "How does your relationship really affect your business and vice versa?" Like, I'm curious as to what your thought about that. So of course, right, I was like, okay, cool, like let's just roll with it, let's just do a live on it. So yeah, anyways, okay, so for those of you who sent me the DMs, I love you, keep them coming, or you can just comment below on any of these channels that you're watching this from, guys. I promise I will check them, I will respond, and I will get back to you. So let's start off with the first stage, right? The first stage of any couple is a stage that I call the settling stage. And this was me at 17 years old. And what I mean by settling, guys, is a lot of people are settling for the life that they have. Okay. So in order for me to share a little bit more about this stage, I thought I would take you back to when I was 17. So I just want you to imagine this. I was still in high school. I was a junior in high school. No, I'm so sorry. I was 18 years old. I was a senior in high school, raising my baby, working full time, and living in low income housing and living off of food stamps, honestly. I was very much in survival mode every single day. I was in a very toxic relationship with my son's dad. Abuse, manipulation, constant mindset programming. He would always tell me, "You're never going to get, anyone better than me. You might as well be happy with what you got. I own you." Like, he just literally would speak this negativity into my brain. And eventually I started to believe it. Right. I started to believe that I wasn't worthy of greatness. I started to believe that I wasn't worthy of amazing love. I started to believe that I should just settle for the life that I have. Okay. So, yeah. And for a while, right, like I believed him for a very long time. I thought maybe if I just held it together, he would change. But here's the truth. You can't fix people who don't want to change. And honestly, fixing anybody is not a high priority on my list anymore. I don't want to fix anybody. I want to work on me because that's the only thing I actually have control over. Does that make sense? So a lot of coaches think that if they just work harder, if they just give, to all the time in the world to their clients will finally get it and start wanting to get those results. And I'm like, no. You can't want those results more for your client than they want it for themselves, right? We're not here to fix anyone. We're not here to change anyone. And this is especially true in the sales department. We're not here to convince anyone to work with us, right? You have to feel ready to do that. You got to know you got a freaking expensive ass problem that you want to solve. And that's why a lot of women come to me, right? They're like, "I have a sales freaking problem. The cash flow is like this. It's inconsistent. I need a simpler way to book calls, make more sales so that I can impact the world." Okay. So we can't convince, we can't fix, we can't change anyone who doesn't want to be changed. But guys, after about 2.5 years of all of that abuse, I hit my lowest point. Razor blade in my hand. I was ready to give up on life. I mean, I was like, literally, this is the hardest thing I've ever gone through. I don't know if I want to live. My life, I think it would just be easier if I just disappeared. And right there at that lowest point in my life, I thought I heard my son crying in the bedroom. So I put the blade down. I ran into his room because I didn't want him to wake up his dad. And he was sound asleep. That was God's wake-up call to me. I remember right there running into his room. He was sound asleep, right? I picked him up and I promised him that I would get us out of that relationship. And a few weeks later, I did. So a big mindset shift here is that I used to think that I was stuck and that I should just settle, right? A settler's mindset is, this is how it is. I should just be grateful for what I have. Some settler habits is avoiding conflict, staying in survival mode, and never investing in growth, right? So the shift here is that realizing settling is a decision, not a destiny. So many women that I work with, so many entrepreneurs settle. They settle for inconsistent cash flow. They settle for clients who drain them. They settle for less than they deserve. But settling never leads to the life or the business that you have been called to live. Okay. So I just want you to self-identify as I'm going through these phases of, evolving as a couple. Are you settling? Are you in a relationship where you're settling, whether that's your partner or your clients? Okay. Just recognize if that's you. Stage 2 is the evolving couple, right? This is the evolving mindset. So for me, this was my 15-year marriage. You see, in 2011, about 5 years later, I hit another rock bottom moment at a doctor's office. I'm sitting there in the doctor's office. My daughter Sarah is sitting right beside me, and this doctor comes in, and point blank, we obviously have a conversation, but point blank, she sits across the table from me and she said, "Carissa, if you don't change your lifestyle, you won't live another 10 years and she won't have a mom." That was my wake-up call. I lost 100 pounds. I rebuilt my health. I found my confidence, and I started rising up in my career. Okay. Now, from the outside, it looked like we had it all, right? Me and my husband. We had the house on the lake, the toys, the boat, the lifestyle, the friends, the freedom. But inside, something was still missing. You see, I was evolving. I was on this amazing personal self-development track, right? There's something powerful that when you get healthy, it's not always about the body, although I love, love, love feeling healthy and being healthy and thinking, oh yeah, I could just hike the mountain tomorrow. I don't need to train for this shit, guys. It's something powerful, yes, right? But within that 2-year transformation of when I went from 213 pounds to 117 pounds, the real transformation came within, right? I created discipline. I became a determined woman. I became a positive woman. So I started getting healthy, and then, physically, and then I went mentally, and then I went emotionally, and then I went, I even had a healthy career. Like I said, on the outside, I looked like I had it all. Okay. So as I was evolving, I realized I wanted more out of life. I kept dreaming bigger. What could happen if we did this? What about this? What about this? I kept asking my partner to grow with me. I was like, hey, you want to go to the gym with me? Hey, what are your thoughts about buying a rental property? Hey, would you want to go to church with me? His answer was always, Carissa, why can't you just be happy with what we have? You see, here's the truth, guys. Sometimes in a relationship, one person evolves and the other does not. And over time, the gap gets too big. Right? So an evolver mindset is someone who thinks, I know I'm meant for more, but I feel guilty for wanting it. His phrase, why can't you just be happy with what we have, made me feel guilty for wanting more. And you should never feel guilty for wanting more, for stepping into a more awesome life. Okay. Evolvers' habits is dabbling in growth, right? They're setting the goals without fully committing, one partner pulling while the other one kind of resists, right? I was getting healthy mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. And the other partner was like, I'm good right where I'm at. He was settling. I was evolving. So the shift is I need you to stop dabbling. I want you to fully commit to the growth and build a shared vision with your partner. Right there is when I realized I couldn't shrink my dreams to fit the relationship. And after 15 years of marriage, I made the very hard decision to walk away from it. And it's the same in business, you guys. If you are dabbling, you're half committed, half in, half ass out, hoping things will change, you will always feel stuck between where you are and where you meant to be. Your relationship and your business have more in common than you think. Okay. So are you a settler, or are you evolving? Okay. Now I want to talk about stage 3, because if you do it right, we should be evolving up. And not that the the evolver couple, right? It's not that they can't become a power couple, but it takes two people to become a power couple, right? So stage 3 is what I want to talk about, is called the power couple. And this is when two people say, we're in this together. We're going to grow and we're going to rise. So I want to tell you about when I met my husband, Will. Everything shifted when I met him. He wasn't intimidated by my big ass dreams. In fact, he matched them in his own unique way. Obviously, I'm an entrepreneur, he's in the military, but I just love a guy who says, this is what I want to be known for. This is the impact I want to change. I'm not going to stop until I reach my goals. Like, there's something sexy about that mindset, right? And there's also something really sexy about a very alpha man who gets shits done, that also sees me for an alpha female that I am, that also supports and holds space for me. Right? A lot of alpha men will like keep their women small, or like, oh baby, you got it. But they ultimately are kind of scared shitless to have their wife evolve past them. Not my husband, right? He literally was like, you got it. You can do it. He always challenges me. He supports me in everything that I do. And more importantly, guys, he holds me accountable. Right? Like, we as women, we say we want to do these amazing, epic things, but who's holding us accountable? Yes, I'm a coach. Yes, I help hold my clients accountable. But at the end of the day, like, I can't force them to do anything. Neither can our partners. All they can do is hold us accountable in the right supportive way. Well, he calls me out on my bullshit. If he hears me say an excuse, he calls it out. If I'm trying to reach a certain specific goal, he will call me out and hold me accountable to that goal. And together, you guys, together, holding each other accountable, challenging each other, inspiring each other, dreaming big together, that is what's ultimately created the power couple identity. We invest in ourselves. We invest in each other. We set goals together and we hold each other accountable. We're not perfect. We don't go through life without conflict, but we are rooted in this power couple identity, which means we're going to respect one another. We're going to share a vision, powerful vision together, and we're willing to grow side by side. A power couple mindset is, we are stronger together. We can have it all. Power couple habits, these are like regular check-ins, intentional intimacy, shared vision and accountability, balancing ambition and play. So the shift that I want you guys to really think about right now is choosing identity every day, right? Not perfection, but progress and commitment to one another. Same thing goes for your business, guys, because that's the truth, right? When couples rise up together, they don't just change their marriage, they change their business, they impact and they leave a legacy. And this is exactly what we just spent 3 incredible epic days teaching 5 other couples. So we had, I'm going to go over that a little bit, but like 5 powerful couples said, you know what? We're not perfect, but we want to do better. We want to be better, right? And out of all of the marketing, out of all of the people that I know, 5 rose to the occasion, right? And not everyone wants to step into power couple identity, right? Sometimes changing is scary. Working on your own shit can be scary, but these powerful couples said yes. Okay. So what we did over our Power Couples retreat in the Dominican, the DR, I should say, it was, the first thing is when everyone landed, right? When everyone got there, it was very weird, right? It was the very first retreat that I've ever ran that I didn't like meet my people on the first day. Normally I run all kinds of women's retreats. We do them at beautiful mansions, resorts, things like that. But like, we come together, we set our intentions on day 1, but this was different. The intention is to get these couples out of their normal environment, get them to play, get them to slow down, get them to focus on them. So day 1 was all about slowing down. It was all about playing. It was all about simply reconnecting with one another. Because you can be connected to your partner, but really reconnecting on a whole different level other than just talking business all the time is huge, right? So day 1 was all about just slowing the F down and like saying, you know what, we are intentional with one another. So the first real day that we came together, guys, we dove right in. We talked about a communication. I shared a very powerful framework that holds space for each person to share what they really need, because everyone wants to feel seen, heard, and loved. And let's face it, guys, communication is one of the biggest problems that couples face today. Communication is one of the biggest leadership problems that we face today. Communication is one of the most, marketing problem that we have today. If you're not communicating your message properly, you're not attracting clients. If you're not communicating in your sales, you're not making sales. If you're not communicating to your team, you're not building up your team. Same goes for your relationship. So of course, we tackled the biggest problem head on day one. It was a big day. We talked communication. And then we talked boundaries and what that looks like for each of us. Because guys, we're going to have conflict. We're going to have fights with our partners. It's how we resolve that without resentment. It's how we resolve that without taking things personal. So of course, communication and boundaries was huge, but then we also ended our first official day with creating the sense of work-life balance. Right? So many entrepreneurs they don't intentionally put their love life or their family life on the back burner. It just happens to happen that way, when I think we need to integrate the two. Right? So we talked strategies. We did open masterminding around it. We supported one another. Then came the next day, which was all about intimacy, managing our stress and adventure. So my husband led this beautiful back-to-back workshop that talked about the 5 different levels of intimacy and how to keep the spark alive, how to date one another for the rest of your life, how to manage your stress, because stress is the number one thing that kills intimacy. Stress kills your sales. Stress kills your business. So many people know that stress is so harmful, yet they allow all the shitty stress to come into their life, right? That's a choice. And then, of course, after we talked intimacy and dating and stress, we, of course, set off on an adventure, right? We all got on a boat. We took an excursion ride. We had so much fun on that excursion. Okay. It was fun to see these couples have fun again. All right. And then the last day, we got straight into mindset, magic, goals, and integration. So it's one thing for a couple to kind of think about their bigger vision, right? Like, oh, we want to own property. We want to build wealth. We want to do all of these things when we're like 60 years old. But not a lot of people seriously take that vision and break it down year by year. Right? Now, we didn't do year by year. I didn't have all the time in the world with these couples, but we did take our big vision. We created our couple manifesto. We created our power couple identity. We even got fun with it and created our power couple name. We had some fun ones. If you were there and you're watching this, drop your fun name below in the chat, share it with us. But guys, we talked mindset, because there's that big difference between, the settling and the evolver, and then the power couple. A lot of couples we get, if you're a power couple, you probably get from your friends, right? Like, oh my God, you guys are so amazing. Oh my God, I wish, we were like you. You're a power couple, right? And so many of us don't believe that we are a power couple. That's a self-worth belief, first of all. And it's really, maybe you've put this power couple identity on the shelf, like a Grant and Alana Cardone, right? Like, you think power couples, but so are you. You are a power couple too, right? So we help them tap into that identity. And then, of course, we took that big vision, we busted down their 12-month goal, and then we literally created a step-by-step roadmap. We're not just wishful thinking. Wishful thinking, remember, is for the settlers and the evolvers. Power couples don't just wish for that shit. We actually strategically break it down. Okay. And then on our very last day, couples were, done. We were officially done. It was amazing. We got to eat dinners together, but we wanted one last day where we just let them be them. Right. So we, of course, practice what we preach. We slowed down. We spent 7 hours in the spa. We got back-to-back massages. I had my very first coffee scrub. My husband was like, oh my God, we should do this. I was like, okay, let's do it. So much fun. And I felt so great. And I smelled like coffee afterwards. So amazing, right? But besides the massaging and, and the spa time, we sat and we reflected. And we reflected on what's important to us. We reflected on our own vision. We reflected on the fact that this was just a dream 12 months ago. And now it's our reality, right? We are leading powerful couples into this like the revolution of power couples. That's pretty cool. So yeah, we spent our downtime with each other. We loved on each other. We were intimate, right? It was amazing. It was an incredible experience. Every couple left with a deeper connection, deeper clarity, and a shared roadmap, not just for their marriage, but for their business too. Because quite honestly, your marriage and your business go hand in hand, right? It's the one thing that you guys talk about, stress about, so of course they left with a business plan along with a marriage plan. Now, this was not a retreat that takes broken ass couples and heals a relationship. We were very clear that like, we're not therapists. We're not here to like help someone that's like almost on the depths of like divorce, right? We've been there. But we wanted to take couples who were in that evolving state and help them recognize that they are a power couple. Okay. So that's what we did. Because when your relationship is thriving, guys, your business thrives. When your relationship is stuck, your business feels stuck too. It's all connected. It's very holistic. Are you guys getting this? Hopefully you're loving it. Okay, so I want to kind of dig into the very final piece, right? Like the big message I want you to hear today is that you don't have to settle. You don't have to evolve alone like I did. And you don't have to sacrifice your relationship for your business or your business for your relationship. You get to have it all. A thriving relationship, a profitable business, a financial freedom, and the health that you desire. But it all starts with a decision to stop settling, to step into the next version of you, and ideally with your partner who's ready to step with you. So if you're listening to this right now and you feel like you're settling, or maybe you're evolving, but your relationship hasn't caught up yet, hear me when I say this. You were not created to play small. It's time to stop asking, why can't I just be happy? And start asking yourself, what would it look like if I stepped fully into my next level? That's what Will and I are on a mission to now help couples create. Yes, I have my business, right? I'm teaching lots and lots of coaches how to make more sales and get more clients. That's the easy side. Yes, he's still in the military. None of that's changing, guys, because we can have our own vision for our own careers and businesses. But we've come together to say, you know what? Humanity needs this. Humanity needs this. And we are ballsy enough to say, you know what? We'll lead the charge. So if you're watching this, ladies, and you're thinking, I don't want to miss the next retreat, whether it's, Carissa's, growth retreats or their couples retreats, doesn't matter. If you're like, I don't want to miss the opportunity to go and learn. I want to evolve. I want to become this power couple. I want to become the powerful CEO of my company. I want to encourage you to just drop me a message or raise me a little hand below in the comments, and let's get you added to our events list so that you never miss these events at all. Because nothing is more sad than when I'm telling a couple about this and they're like, oh my God, I wish I could go. And I'm like, it's too late. Like it was locked in, right? Like our group rates were locked in. They're like, next time. Like, you're like, oh, I wish I could make it work. So don't be that person that's like, oh, that sounds so cool. I wish that could be me. Because if that's you, you're settling. Okay. So don't be that person. Get on our list. Drop me the word message below, and I will send you over a link so you can subscribe to our events list and you can get on that. All right, you guys, stay tuned because Will and I are definitely going to be going live more than likely in the next couple of days, sharing our biggest ahas and takeaways from this fantastic retreat. Ladies getting antsy, so I better go. I love you guys, and I hope you have the most epic day ever.